Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the MatchNet podcast. This is your podcast just for you single folks who are preparing for the matching and the blessing. This is the only podcast that I know of that's about this. So wherever you're listening to this or watching, we want to encourage you guys to subscribe or follow because we're going to be posting a lot of content just like this for you guys. I'm really happy today to have other people. We have Christian Nseka, our assistant BFM director. Hey man, how you doing?
Okay, how about you?
Okay, I'm good, thank you. And we have Mrs. Andrea Kuhn.
Hi everyone.
First time having you. I tried saying your name like a German. How do you pronounce your name correctly?
Andrea Kuhn.
Andrea?
Yeah.
Which one do you like? Because people say like Americans will say Andrea, right?
Yeah, I don't mind because
you don't mind.
Yeah, my mom says Andrea, so I guess that's my name.
Your mom says Andrea.
I've been for so long, so Andrea.
Got it.
I'm okay with
How about Andrea?
Yeah.
That's an Italian man's name, Andrea.
I know. Don't remind me.
Okay, anyways, let's get to it. I wanted to introduce Andrea here because she is filling in for Yana Johnson, who is on maternity leave currently because she just had her third baby boy, little Ruben, right?
Yep.
So this is the official introduction of having you as the fill-in interim director of the BFM, which is a big deal. And I know you've got so much going on. We've got the blessing coming up. Could you just say some things? Anything you want to say to the community?
Yeah, I'm really excited and happy to be doing this stuff. I really love Yana. We work so well together. And, you know, she really helped me a lot to be ready to take on this position. And yeah, it's just really been so nice meeting so many people and working with a fantastic team. And I really hope we're serving everybody well and helping everybody get where they need to be in their matching process. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you too. So today we're getting into something that's really close to home for a lot of people. I think everyone listening will benefit tremendously from this. And that is about limiting beliefs. Now, this is something that we're gonna be getting into a little bit of the self-help guru stuff. I'm gonna avoid certain terminology that for me that really triggers me. Stuff like, oh, you know, anyways, I'm not gonna go there, but this is a truly, I think one of the biggest roadblocks that we see when people are considering the matching process, especially when it comes to finding people, is that we all have these deeply rooted beliefs about ourselves that may be true or may not be true, but we're here to tell you that it actually doesn't matter. And what's more important is, do your limiting beliefs that you might have about yourself, do they hold you back? And are you actually putting some self-imposed roadblocks in your life, not only in finding someone, but in your life in general, in your career, in your friendships, in your relationships, in any aspect of your life? So we're gonna kind of expel some common limiting beliefs that people have about themselves. And I know for sure that you will resonate with some of them, but I want to ask our team here first, what are some limiting beliefs that you have about yourself or have had about yourself that haven't served you very well? And we can start with that. Maybe Christian, you want to go?
Wow, why are you picking on me, Benjy?
Because, never mind. Why do you think, well, this is a limiting belief. Why do you think I'm picking on you, Christian? What are you telling yourself about yourself that I'm picking on?
That's a good question. Why are you picking on me? Why didn't you go? Because this is the first time that Andrea has joined us, right? She should be going first.
No, I'm saving her. I'm saving
it's like, yeah, that's, you have a point. I think that's a limiting belief. Yeah, maybe I think I am not worthy enough.
To go first?
To go first? Yeah, because, you know, I remember when it was time for the blessing, I did not even think I was going to be matched, you know, because I felt like I might not deserve the blessing, you know, because, you know, when you consider what, especially how we were raised to see the blessing as something really precious, a big, huge grace that your parents are giving us, and the feeling is like, who am I to deserve it? You know, so maybe that's what continues to today. When you pick me first, I'm like, why are you picking me first? You know, Andrea should have gone first, you know? So on that point, yeah, I'm gonna give the floor back to you so that we can give it to Andrea.
Wait, hold on a second, Christian. I'm not asking you just so you can gloss over this. So so you had a limiting belief that you were maybe not worthy of the matching and blessing, receiving the blessing, right?
Yeah.
Is there any particular reason that you felt that you can identify?
One, I remember during the matching, they were saying that most of us young, especially young brothers, may not be matched because there are a lot of older sisters who still need matches. So that on top of, nobody really deserved the blessing, so you put all that together. It's like, okay, so I'm not going to the blessing. I will not be matched. And before you know it, boom, I was matched. Yeah.
There you go. So how did you feel after getting matched and blessed?
Actually, it was surreal to some extent. It is not like I really embraced my matching. I was like, yeah, I'm matched. No, it was nothing like that. It was like I kept it really a distance. And one thing is also because I don't know if we have time for this, but my father died when I was 8. My mother died when I was 16. So I started feeling like anything precious in my life will just be taken away. So I didn't really own. I don't have the feeling of owning a matching, even owning a blessing. I just kept it at a distance, so that if it was taken away, it was taken away. I really don't lose anything. So I think that's where all this came from, that I don't deserve happiness. Growing up with those type of experiences, it creates that. So yeah, thank you, Benjy, for making me go there to realize.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing and finally getting a little sappy with us. Christian, you're such a sarcastic man of wisdom, but I think this is critical. So you, I guess because of your childhood, your experience with your parents passing away, which I didn't know, and thanks for sharing that. It kind of puts some perspective on, so you feel like maybe you're not worthy of having things that are precious and keeping those things. So you're feeling, when you do realize that you can have all of that, plus a blessing, plus children, how does that make you feel at the end of the day?
Yeah, it is good. You feel good because you're achieving something, but that feeling does not go away. It might have gone down, but it's like when something happened that doesn't go the way you expected it to happen, it's easy to just look back, yeah, or to pull that thing back, So, but also coming to understand God is, when I was a teenager, I had 3 questions that I was asking. The first one was, who is God? And the second one was, does God love me? And the third one was, how much does God love me? Again, going through the experience of losing my parents very young. So, but with the divine principle, with true parents, with the blessing, the answer is clear. God loves me. God loves me. So, yeah, it puts your mind at my mind at ease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, well, we're going to move on for you, but I have one more question, Christian. I really appreciate it. I think this is helpful for everyone to hear, and this is why we're talking about, because I know people resonate with this. So what would have happened if you let those limiting beliefs control your life?
Oh, I will not get anywhere, really. I would not have been blessed. I would not have had children. I would not have had this awesome wife that I have. I would not have been here talking with you and Andrea. And yeah, I would have been nowhere in my life. And also, anybody who has benefited from me being in their lives would not have benefited.
Wonderful. Thanks, Christian. For everyone listening, if you find Christian's words wisdom beneficial, then let him know. Give us a comment or something like that. And I think we always appreciate good feedback, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Christian, do you have any questions for Andrea?
Oh, no, actually, I'm going to leave it to you because you can dig deeper. You can
Yeah,
help
Andrea, I know.
somebody dig deeper.
Yeah, you have such, I think, deep experience with this. So I'm just going to let you take it away. What's been your experience with limiting beliefs?
Okay. I mean, honestly, I'm really a very shy and introverted person. I just think that's my nature. So, when I was younger, the thought of even speaking now on a podcast would have just, it would have made me ill for 3 days before. I was really a very quiet, shy kid, and I was just a straight C student, nothing special, and I didn't have any hobbies that I was really good at. And I remember, I think it was grade 9, we did this personal growth thing, and we had to write 25 things that we really liked about ourselves or talents we thought that we had. And I could only come up with 3 things. Like for days and days and days, I just looked at this paper, and I realized, felt.
Do you remember them?
The 3 things I wrote, yeah. Sure. Yeah. The one thing I knew is that I was really good at listening to people. I felt a lot of empathy towards others, and like a lot of school friends used to like to come to me one-on-one just to talk about all their problems. So I realized that was something I could do. And the other thing was I was really good with kids. I'm the oldest grandchild of a pretty big Irish British family, and I'd looked after heaps of babies. They didn't scare me at all. So, and the other thing that I was really good at in biology was dissection. I really loved, it's weird, I know, but I loved cutting up animals and making really nice, precise cuts. And I just loved, like mammals' bodies. That was something I was good at. It was the only subject I was good at in school. But otherwise, I never got further than those 2 points.
Wonderful. So how old were you, by the way, when you made that
14, about 14.
Okay, yeah. That helps.
Yeah. Well, things did get better.
6-year-old cutting up animals.
I did. I was planning to be a doctor. I failed grade 9 math, but then in grade 10, I had a major breakthrough in high school. I had this really nice Indian maths teacher. He wasn't a guru, but he was kind of my guru. He just really helped me learn to learn and how to get a perspective on things. And pretty much after that, I was on the honor roll every semester, and I was planning to be a surgeon, but that didn't happen. I decided to become a full-time unificationist. So I became full-time, when I was like just 19. And I went to something that was called MET at that time. It was kind of like the GPA for first-gen new members. And it was really tough. To be honest, I was by far the youngest. The others were all kind of like in their mid-20s. I was terrible at fundraising. I was terrible at witnessing, but like I really loved people. I really wanted to be there. I really loved caring for others.
Hold on. And, wait, you said you really loved people. That's usually not what an introvert tends to say.
I love people one-on-one.
Okay.
I couldn't be the person who stood up and, did the street lecture or anything like that. But one-on-one, I really love to care for people. And at the end of that, it was called MET, Mobile Education Team. We each got given a journal about a week before we left, and everybody was asked to write in each other's journals and to write, how you saw the other person, how you'd experienced them in this time, and what you thought were their gifts. And so like I suddenly had 20 perspectives of how people saw me, and they were so different to how I had seen myself. And it just really made me realize who I am and the gifts that I have. And one brother wrote that the only thing that I'm missing is confidence. That was my real limiting thing. But I didn't even need to worry about that, because if I would just be confident in God, God completing the needs that I have, or the things I'm not good at, then everything's going to be okay. And that was a really serious breakthrough for me, that I just changed that perspective completely, that, whatever situation I'm in, as long as I do everything I can, that God is somehow going to fill the rest, whether it's an external need that someone else will support me with, or an internal need that I will get the insight I need to do that. And it just really changed my whole perspective on how I approached life.
Yeah. So there's a lot to unpack there. How has been, because you mentioned your limiting belief is that I'm introverted, I'm shy, I'm not confident. obviously you've developed, right? You've grown since then. So how, first of all, how did being that or having that belief about yourself, how did that hold you back in your life, do you think?
Oh, it held me back in for a long time in a lot of things. Like in the past, I was asked to lead teams or different things, and I always just said no. And to be really honest with you guys, a couple of years ago, I wasn't even asked to lead the BFM, and I said no at that time.
And now look at where you are.
Yeah. Because I reached that point where I felt that, God is calling me to do it. So I need to do my part, and he's going to give me the rest, the people I need who are going to help me.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job, by the way.
I hope so.
I think Christian
With a
and I
good
both,
team.
Christian and I work very close with you, so we can say that for sure. So what happened? Like, how did you change? What was the turning point that helped you open up?
I think it was just a lot of steps. Part of it was also my blessing. I got matched just a few days before the blessing to a German brother. And, unlike Christian, I was really super, super excited. We were just 21 and 23. And probably I had a little bit of this Hollywood idea, sparks and romance. And when we met in Korea, actually, everything was fine and it was nice. And my husband and I are both Jacob children, so we knew a lot of other people there too, other Jacob children. We had a good experience. And then we came home and everything went wrong. I mean, everything. Our parents really didn't like each other. They had completely different ideas of how we should be, what we should be doing with our lives. And it was just really bad. And probably 6 months into our blessing, my husband was just so done with it all. He got on a container ship. He went off around the world, South America, Australia, and we just didn't communicate at all. I didn't even know where he was. I just knew he's on his ship.
Wow.
And so to be really honest, I lay in bed for about a week. I didn't do anything much. I was just, I got up to eat and drink sometimes, but I was just really down. And I just started reading, especially True Mother's Words, From the Heart of True Mother, that book. And, I just kind of closed off from the world, and it was me and God. And I just felt, okay, I truly, truly believe in the blessing. And I truly believe that if True Fathers pick this person for me, it's right. But how am I going to manage this? And I think more than anything, I just got to the point where I'm surrendering everything to God. I trust him. This is going to work out. I'm going to do my part, everything that I can do. And so I decided to go on a mission to Armenia. At that time, they were at war with Azerbaijan, but I'd always wanted to go to the former USSR and be a missionary. And I just put my whole heart and soul into that. And I said, okay, the second my husband contacts me, I'll be there. I'll be ready to embrace him however and whatever it is. And until then, I'm just doing what I can to live my life for God, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. So I think something that's really important you touched on is that you are still introverted, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're still you, and Christian is still him. So what's really key here that I'm taking away is that it's not about these qualities being wrong. It's absolutely not the case that being introverted or shy is a bad trait. In fact, many people argue the opposite, right? The problem is when you let that belief about yourself limit you and your possibilities in your life, right? If you keep saying no to opportunities because I'm shy, because I can't do it, because of this, because of that, because I'm unworthy, you will not progress in life, and you will always be scared, and you will be unwilling to take a risk. So I think that's critical. So for me, it's like I resonate a lot with both of what you're sharing. I am a through and through introvert for sure. I don't think anyone believes me when I say that, but it's true. I grew up my whole life being very quiet, the shy kid in the corner of the playground, just under the swing set, just like looking at other kids play, like, oh, that looks fun. Can I join? No, I can't.
Benjy, are you talking about yourself, or are you talking about your twin?
I'm talking about.
I was going to say, we can't believe this.
This is me, okay? They say that most teachers or educators are introverted, and I believe that. It's because, anyways, not to get into introversion, extroversion. There's no right or wrong. It's just that for a very long time, my limiting belief, and I'll share about this because the reason I want to talk about this topic is because I talked to two candidates recently that really help shed light on this fact that many people have limiting beliefs regarding the matching and blessing themselves. One person I talked to was, we were talking about international matching, and he asked me, like, genuinely, honestly, like, what do you think about international matching? Should I consider it? And my first response is, I think if you're, I think I said something like, if you have thick skin, then it's good for you. Then matching, like, it takes someone of thick skin to go through an international matching blessing because it's difficult, because it's challenging. That's what I said. And what I'm really grateful for is he challenged me and he said, I don't think that's true. I don't think always it's the case that international matching is challenging. And I was taken aback, and I took a step back and I was like, oh my goodness, you're right. Like, this is a belief that I have, that if you marry someone of different culture or nationality or language, it will be challenging. That's a belief I have. And we had this conversation, and at the end of the conversation, we realized that this is limiting belief I have, many people have, but at the core of it, the reason that international matching is not because it's international, but because if you have two individuals who are, let's say, closed-minded or have a challenging time accepting and learning from other cultures and races, then yeah, it'll be challenging because of the individual and not because of the fact that it's international. Does that make sense? It's a causation and correlation effect.
Yep.
So for me, I realized, like, yeah, there are tons of people around the world who are excited to get to know someone of a different culture and nationality. They're excited to learn another language. And if they identify points in their relationship that are different, they go, cool, I get to learn it like that. There are people like that. So it says more about the individual than it does about the relationship. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So for me, this was like an aha moment. Like, I have been living the last 11 plus years of my blessing, believing that my blessing was just going to be difficult because it's international, or because we're man and woman, which is also another belief, right? But actually, it's more to do with how loving, accepting, and unconditional am I as an individual. And it's a correlation and causation effect in essence. So that was cool for me. And the other the second conversation I had was with a brother who is rather young, right? He's in his teens, and he's been listening to Dr. Young talking about, getting matched and blessed younger, focusing on preparing yourself for matching, blessing younger. And he was really felt paralyzed with, and I know he's listening to this too, and I love this guy to death, because I was matched when I was 18, right? I was engaged when I was 18 years old. So his biggest roadblock is he said that I'm really fearful that I will be in a relationship or communicate with someone that won't respect me and won't acknowledge me and will look down on me because she's older than me. And I said, okay. And then I kind of shared my story in the fact that I was also blessed quite young, and I had the same fear. I had a fear that if I am in a relationship with someone, that I'll always be looked down on and I won't be respected and appreciated. And I'm always too young to do this. So through this conversation, I kind of helped him realize, like, this is actually a limiting belief that you have, and it's actually stopping you from taking action. It is physically stopping you from saying yes to talking with someone, because you believe that anyone you talk to, even if they're slightly older than you, is going to say, you're a kid, you're too young, and I can't respect you, right? So I helped him realize and ask him a few questions like, okay, if that were to happen, and this goes for everyone who has limiting beliefs, if that were to happen, you had a conversation and they said, you know what, you're too young. Well, congratulations. You found the person that you probably shouldn't be in a matching process with, right? You have identified that this is something that's important to them. You talked about it, that specific thing, and you were able to make a decision together whether to proceed or not. It's not a make or break situation where you have to say yes or no to an eternal blessing in marriage, but it's really like, it's a conversation. It's like, this is one of the first things you can talk about when you approach a family or a family approaches you. It's like, what do you think about my age? And if they say, you're a few years younger than me, but that's not really that important to me. If they say, actually, what's more important to me is your character, is your sexual integrity, is your relationship with God, your faith. And if that's the case, then proceed, then go forth with it, right? So that was really something that I personally resonated with, that I wanted to share. For me, is that I believe that from the very beginning of my blessing. What's funny is that my wife was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's still like, she doesn't care about my age, which I was shocked, honestly, because she's about 2.5, 3 years older than me. I was shocked. I was like, wow, I can't believe that. And then and then she jokes very often, like when we're arguing or fighting, she jokes and calls me a teenager, right? For the first 2 years of our blessing, she would call me teenager. And this is a joke, right? It's like, oh, you're being a teenager. And it drove me crazy and it got under my skin so much. And I was just like, let it go. Like, okay, fine. That's true. I am a teenager. I'm being immature. And then I turned 20 and then she kept calling me teenager. And I kid you not, I turned 21. She kept calling me teenager. And I was like, all right. And I eventually got really upset and then she stopped. Anyways, I'm not trying to paint her as like some mean. She just has a sense of humor. She knows how to like drive me crazy. She's like, and then so my point is like she helped me realize that I have some insecurities actually about my age, and this held me back for years because let's say for example, matching advising. For the last 10 years, actually, I've been doing matching supporting, but it hasn't been until the last year where I felt like, oh my goodness, like I'm actually older than most of the people that are trying to get matched and blessed and thinking about it and getting really serious about it. I actually have a lot of experience. So I have been quiet for almost 10 years about sharing what I've learned about how to help people get matched and blessed, success stories, pitfalls that people fall into. And I've just been quiet because my thought is I'm too young. Like no one will listen to me. I'm too young to give advice and people won't take it seriously. But in the last few years, with the development of MatchNet and that idea, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like here's the thing that I want to get to. It might be true that if I put a video out onto the world and talk about, matching and blessing and all that, it might be true that people say, oh, he's just some kid, that he's young, or he doesn't know what he's talking about. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter whether it's true or not. The fact of the matter is I'm helping people. The fact of the matter is that I'm putting myself forward and I'm not letting the hindrance of my beliefs about myself hold me back. So
I think it's really, the whole age thing is such an important topic in the matching. And, there's the people who feel they're too young and there's the people who feel they're too old because they've hit 30 and they aren't matched yet. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's like you said, it's so irrelevant. It's really down to just the individual person, pretty much all our concepts. We have the power to change our beliefs and, like you said, to just be unconditional and get to know a person. And it's also so cultural. Spending the time I did in Russia and the former Soviet Union, most people get married when they're 18 or 19. It's completely normal. And it's really fun to go to university together. My husband and I did that too. We had our kids when we were in university. It was great being young. We didn't see it as a hindrance. Oh, yeah. At the same time, I have friends who only got married when they were 40, and instead they didn't have the financial struggles we had. Everything was very secure. I think there's something positive, whatever the age is, where you're going into a matching and blessing. I think you can always see something really good in the situation you're in and just be confident that who you are. Yeah.
So turning a positive spin on the situation. I want to get into that too. In a second, we're going to give you some examples of common misconception, misbeliefs. I just want to share one thing because that was the past me. The present me, what I'm facing with and how this has brought me here is that currently my situation is I'm a parent, right? I have 2 kids. We actually have another one on the way. That's news. So 3 kids.
Yay.
Officially announcing here. On
just a second, Benjy, are you competing with Yana?
With Yana. Of course, you didn't know. So so anyways, my point is I have experience as a parent. My son is 7, my daughter's 5, and we have a 0-year-old. We have been through a lot, of course, in relevancy to you guys, we're quite young, right? Our kids are young, but I know for a fact there are hundreds, maybe thousands of people around the world who have been through experiences that I have been through, and I could help. So my heart is like, I want to help people become good parents because parenting is everything to me. If you follow me on Instagram, I just started an Instagram MatchNet account, by the way, so that I can kind of reach people on Instagram as well with MatchNet content. So I share more about my family and stuff. And I think it's pretty evident that I care so much about being a good parent, almost too much, it's almost a fault of mine, actually. So anyways, I realized I want to help people with parenting at some point, especially with BFM. This is our bread and butter, parenting, how to be good parents. But I also, at the same time, I believe that I'm too young to do it. Like I don't have enough experience. My kids aren't old enough. And I realize like that's the current limiting belief that I have, that I can't help people be good parents because I'm not experienced enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
It does. But you can be giving advice to people who have young kids because you have that experience, like the basic attitude towards parenting and understanding. For sure, you have that experience now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, look at it this way. Everybody has limiting beliefs, and everybody's experience is different. Everybody is at a different level. There are things that you might advise in terms of parenting. Andrea may look and say, been there, done that. But somebody else may look at it and say, wow, that was awesome. That was good. I needed that. So each one of us, we reach a certain level. We can, how may I say this? Like this podcast will benefit some people more than others. Okay? Why? Because it is based on the experience, where people are, wavelength. That's what I was looking for. Where do we vibrate? And sometimes somebody may listen to this podcast and say, okay. The same person may listen to the same podcast, podcast the same day, and go like, oh, I did not hear that. Oh, how come? So we hit targets at different stages, at different speeds, at different levels. So what you are doing, God put in your heart to do it for a reason, because there is an audience there that you're going to help. So are you young? Yes. Younger than other people? Sure. But that doesn't mean that you cannot help anybody. I am from Democratic Republic of Congo. So in my country, we have a say in, I'm going to say it in Lingala, mwana moke abeta kambonda, bakolo pe babinaka, which means that a little kid can play a drum. Just because it is a kid playing a drum doesn't mean that grown-ups will not dance. Grown-up may dance to that drum too. So it is not about your age. It is about what you are doing. I'm done.
Wow.
Thank you, Christian. Hakun Matata. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I'm gonna like segment that piece and like put it on social media. That was awesome.
I like that.
So this, we're talking about age, but this applies to every limiting belief you have, right? So, right, absolutely. I think what the important thing we want to give you guys is to identify your limiting beliefs and turn a spin on it. Like, how can you see it from a different perspective in a way that you didn't, maybe a positive perspective? So we're going to give you some ideas of some common limiting beliefs. I made a list of some, but at the top of your heads, what are the common misbeliefs that people have when they're going to matching and blessing in your experience?
I think for a lot of, especially guys, that they're worried that they don't have a financial security yet, that, they might not be finished university. A lot of people want to finish university first. Honestly, it wasn't a problem for us. We were both students. We didn't have money, but we always had enough to get by. And I think that even bonded us together a lot more. So that's something I see a lot, is this fear of not having enough economic security to be able to have a wife.
That's awesome. That's true. I mean, that's a true belief. Yeah. So the belief is that in order to be in a relationship or to be a provider, I need to have financial security. That's the belief. I need to have this first. That is very common. Yeah. So my question for people listening is that true? And most importantly, is that holding you back? The point of everything we're talking about is it doesn't matter if my age or my financial status is true or not. The point is, how is it holding you back? And is it holding you back? Is it serving you? Is that belief serving you? And how can I see this maybe belief I have about finances in a positive way? Could it be beneficial perhaps to not have everything figured out financially before beginning a relationship? I think for Andrea and myself, at least, it was actually kind of nice to kind of figure it out together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
kind of,
if you figured out your whole life before you get matched, then two people come together that have made completely different plans and experience, and then it's all about compromising, giving up something, and trying to blend with the other person. If you start young, you don't have many concepts and plans yet, and you're going to create it together.
Mhm.
Great. Any others beliefs, guys? Christian.
Besides age, finance, I will say some people, they talk about their looks, am I pretty enough? Am I
Big
handsome?
one.
Yeah.
Christian, have you ever mentored a matching candidate or single person that believed because of my external appearance, I will be rejected?
Yeah, that a lot.
And do you feel like that was actually true? Or do you feel like it was kind of more of a self-projection?
Some of them, I know one who has gotten to that point based on experience. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say this, many African-American second gen, for instance, go through that. Basically because of their race, unfortunately. Yeah. So when somebody goes through that, once, probably it's okay, twice, then the person starts associating. The third time, then it becomes like, oh yeah, it is what it is, and that hurts. Yeah. So something like that, how can they overcome it? It is who they are. It is not like a character that they can change.
So what do you recommend that they do? Someone that had experienced that.
In a situation like that, we just keep on searching, but we start targeting similar skin color, which limits the pool. Because like in Africa, for instance, most Africans, they really go by what Truffaut was promoting about intercultural marriage. And that's what they're looking for, intercultural, interracial, not because they want to get out of Africa, because they want that interracial to break that color barrier, and when that becomes an obstacle, then the solution that we come up with is just settle within, the intraracial, so something is amiss when that happens like that.
Yeah. So what you're sharing right now kind of contradicts what I've been talking about. So I want to get into this a bit.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that if you have a fundamental belief that because of whatever factor, skin color, because I'm Black, and your belief is because I'm Black, people will reject me, whether that's true or not. And you're saying that it is true, right? I'm not disregarding that.
Actually,
I'm not disregarding that. So my point is,
I think, Benjy, it is not contradicting what you're saying, because at some point we agree that it is the individual, really. It is not the age, it is not whatever, it is the individual. It is not a race either, really. It is individual, because this person came to believe because I'm Black, because of the experiences. And
right.
That makes this person start behaving like that, start thinking like that. It is the individual, because if the same individual who start thinking, because I'm Black, I cannot be matched or blessed, happens to be contacted by another family that is Caucasian, that belief will change. Makes sense? It is not the race. It is not the skin color. It is not the age or whatever. Like we said earlier, it is individual. How has the individual embraced this reality? Because some people may look at it and say, I'm going to keep pushing. Same situation. Somebody will say, I'm going to keep pushing. I will not give up. I'm going to keep pushing. Another person will say, okay, let's just focus on this area here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. This is a big one. I think, yeah, it's hard. So if you have questions about beliefs or misbeliefs, you can contact us or contact Christian. I think we're really happy to work with people individually. And overall, it seems that experiences do shape beliefs. That's the fact of the matter. Experiences shape beliefs. Yeah. It's up to us to decide if those beliefs will hold us back. Because I have spoken with people who, based on experience, maybe once or twice, they were in a process and it didn't work out. And maybe it was because of one aspect of their physical appearance. And then other relationships or conversations they went into that didn't work out, they attributed immediately to that. And I asked them, like, okay, did they say that? Right? And like, no, it was because, a different reason. Mm-hmm. So what my point is, like, whether it's true or not, is it healthy and is it serving you? And at the same time, if, like, I was talking to this guy who was talking about, being afraid of talking with someone who's older and kind of looks down at them because they're young. I said to him, if you find someone that disrespects you and does not see you as a child of God because of your age, you should run in the opposite direction away from that person. You should sprint for your life and never consider getting blessed with them. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
So I don't know. Anyways, we want to give some other misbeliefs here. Any other ones that you guys have? You covered a lot of the ones that I wanted to talk about. Here's another one. There's no one out there.
Oh yeah, we hear that a lot.
Is that true? Is that true, guys?
Absolutely not. There's maybe no one out there in what you think you're looking for. If you're only looking on blessing for you, I mean, how many candidates do we have who do not use blessing for you? Or if you're only looking in your country, you are putting limitations. And that there are, first of all, there's so many candidates. The second thing is maybe you're not finding them. That's why you need a matching team. We don't expect that you can find hundreds of people, but you can find matching supporters. You can ask your friends, you can ask your parents and the friends of your parents. You can, if you want, you can have so many people looking for you. We have a very good international network. That shouldn't be a limitation for anybody. There is somebody there for every person. I firmly believe that. If you open your heart to whatever God's prepared for you, you're going to find it.
Thank you, Andrea. Also, if there was no one out there, then no one would get blessed.
Right.
Which is not happening. So no one would get married. There are no guys out there. That's another one. There are no men. There are no marriageable men.
Well, they're maybe hiding. So sometimes the guys, they go undercover for a few years. I won't deny that. But there's an age when they come back and suddenly they're present. So I do know that can be tough for the girls. I think you have to have patience. It's, honestly, it's not easy to find somebody. And sometimes people think it's only in our movement that it's not easy to find someone. But honestly, out there in the world, it's also very difficult to find somebody who really fits to you that you want to marry. It's easy to date. Nobody's denying that. You can find somebody to have a fun time with, but to really find somebody who's truly connected to you, who you really have the same values and beliefs with, it's difficult wherever you are. It's going to take effort and work.
Great. Thank you. Here's another one right here. International marriage is hard. It's hard. We touched on this a bit too. Is that true?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, international marriage is hard, but so is national marriage. Any marriage is hard, So is international marriage harder than any other marriage? No. No, it's not. Actually, it has more benefits than the national marriage.
Well, here's the misbelief. I can't do an international marriage because it's too hard for me. That's the belief.
That's a belief, like we have been saying, that is a limiting belief, because they just limit themselves from experiencing something that is broader, bigger, deeper, more exciting.
Yeah.
So personally, I will say, if you have a chance to go for an international marriage, go for it. That's what I will say. Yeah.
I mean, truly, honestly, I think for an international marriage, the only thing that is a real challenge is the language. So if you don't have that common language, you're going to need time to learn each other's language. But everything else, I just see it as the person. It's an individual, and we have these stereotypes, and they're so not
But
true.
Is it always a challenge for everyone to learn another language?
It wasn't for me. I know for some people it is. All I'm saying is that is an external factor that's there. But everything else is just, it's a person. It doesn't matter where they're from or which culture they grew up in. We have all these stereotypes that are just so limiting and not true.
But you know what? Language can be a barrier, yes, but you can also use to advantage. I don't understand what you said, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I told you to do this. Oh, I did not do that, you know. No, I do not understand. You know?
I do not.
But you know what? What is
Hakuna
interesting?
Matata. Yeah.
Yeah, Hakuna Matata. Yeah.
So we have a positive spin on all these. So we're going to get through these now. That's the other one is I can't learn another language. That's another thing. Or it's difficult to learn another language. That's not true for everyone. That's more about the individual than it is about the act of learning language. Here's another one. I can't do a long distance relationship. It's too difficult. Therefore, I'm not going to consider it. Also a belief that can have a positive spin that does limit your opportunities in terms of finding someone, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, in terms of finding someone and also in terms of just visiting the world, getting to know a new culture. You know, it is beneficial for human beings to explore other cultures. Like for those of us in New York, some people they may not have to leave New York to experience other culture, but at the same time, it is not the same. Going to live in that area is much more educational than being with somebody in your area, somebody who came to visit. So we limit ourselves a lot in many ways, but that we don't know that we are limiting ourselves. Because the joy that I can experience being in one environment, if I can combine with a different environment, my joy just expands. The realm of my joy expands. Same philosophy with international marriage, intercultural marriage. I add something, I add a certain seasoning, a certain sizzle, a certain flavor to my relationship. So what will I want to do? Just have a blend of food or wet seasoned food?
Yeah.
The choice is simple.
So are you saying that downtown Koreatown, Manhattan is different from going to Korea?
Definitely, I'm saying that, yes.
Okay, good. Just want to clarify that. Those are two different things. Awesome. Okay, here's another one. This is one we touched on, but also if you have anything to add, someone will not accept me because of XYZ, my age, my ethnicity, my language, my baldness, my past experience, my sexual experience, my habits.
Yeah, all that is true. I don't want to say it is not true. All that is true because somebody might not accept somebody because of all that. But the point that we're trying to make here is that that should not stop you from trying to look for a spouse. Let that person say no. But that is their prerogative to say no or yes. But all that you can do is put yourself out there. So don't let that prevent you from putting yourself out there. Whether it is that or age, whatever, everything that we have been talking about, those can be obstacles, yes, from other people's view. But me as an individual, I should not be thinking like that anymore. I should put myself out there, keep going, break barriers, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. Here's another one. I'm going to put a spin on this. The belief that no one is good enough for me.
Oh, I've never had a candidate say that, but I have had parents say that.
I promise you, parents and candidaents alike. This might be more.
Benjy will say.
Okay, this. Okay, this is where I'm getting. This. You're the worst. You're the worst. This actually is something that people that are like me will resonate with and understand. Is that. And not only, men, this is like the higher you climb in life or the bigger your ego gets, in other words, the bigger your perspective on, or your financial situation or your career gets, the less open you are to other possibilities of someone lesser than you, of someone that is not as far along in their journey of X, Y, and Z, or financially or career-wise or whatever. Therefore, there's not enough people that meet my standard of life because I'm perfect. And therefore my marriage has to be perfect. For my spouse, my husband, my wife has to be of a certain level. And we have to put photos of history on Facebook and all that.
You know
Hold
what?
on, Christian. Hold on. This is what I'm getting to. I think, you know, I think back to when I was 18 years old, getting matched and blessed, and thinking like, oh, I'm the bee's knees, I'm the cat's whiskers, or cat's pajamas, whatever the term is that I, you know, I'm the best out there and I need what's best, right? The problem is, if I were to get to know myself like now, and I look back to myself, if I was a woman getting to know me, I would not think of myself as marriageable, honestly, like honest to God. Honest to God, I would run away from someone like me.
Definitely.
And if I was a parent and I was matching my kids, I would not want to match my kids to someone like me. Why?
Definitely.
Because even though I'm relatively smart and I'm good with people and all that, I have had an enormous ego where I just thought it was, everything will come easy to me in life. And I would run away from that kind of situation. And God bless my wife, because she's the only person. She's the only person that would accept me. Like, that's the truth of the matter. There are many women, in my case, that would have not accepted me and would maybe in the beginning, but would have run away. But my wife's the only person that I've found that is willing to accept me and work with me and help me come out of my shell and become the man I'm proud to be today. And I'm working on.
Yeah.
So this is to dispel for you folks who are like, oh, Benjy, you know, you're 18 years old and you're going to, you know, I'm 30. And no, shut up. Christian, be quiet. This is dispel the myth that it's easy for everyone. And everyone has their thing. Everyone has their misconception. Their insecurity is ultimately what this is an insecurity. You're identifying and you're putting a label on that. And you're learning, figuring out, okay, not everyone is going to accept this. That's for sure. Not everyone is going to accept the fact that you had a sexual relationship in the past. Not everyone's going to accept the fact that you can't speak their language, or you're a different skin color, or your parents are divorced, or your parents aren't alive, or whatever, guys, or you don't like dogs. No one's, that's a thing for people. So my point is, we all have it. We just have to be willing to put down the misbelief that I can't, or therefore I'm not going to look out and try. But there is someone out there. I promise you. We have seen as a team, we have seen just the most dire of situations, like people who are divorced and have kids and are, 50 plus years old. Like, what hope do they have? They have all the hope in the world because God believes in them. They are able to find someone. We, Christian, the most unworthy orphan from Africa, was able to find a beautiful spouse and have beautiful children. And live a happy and successful life. Andrea, the introvert who's too shy to do anything, to say yes to anything, is the director of the BFM currently, and helping hundreds of people get matched and blessed and care deeply about them. Me, nothing. You know nothing about me, guys. So my point is that we all have limiting beliefs, and if we let them stop us, we will always reach a limit. This is not matching and blessing only. This is not relationship only. This is life. This is everything in your life. This is everything. And it's not a self-help guru web podcast about how to get out of whatever, So we hope this is helpful for you guys. Do you guys want to close this off with any words?
Sure. Just thinking about all these limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, I think at the end of the day, it's mostly about loving yourself and accepting all of who you are, and just really seeing that you are a child of God, that the way God made you is exactly right. And, if you love yourself and you are happy and okay with who you are, you're going to be a lot more attractive to other people. And it's also going to be much easier for you to love and embrace and accept other people with their flaws. So be generous to yourself and be generous to others. That's amazing. So in effect, if you see yourself as God's child, it's easier to see other people as God's child. Yeah, that's what beautiful. I meant. So another belief that we're going to get into the next podcast, just as a what is it called? A cliffhanger. Another belief is it's the system's problem. It's the church's problem why I can't find someone. So stick around for that. We'll have lots to say.
What's that cliffhanger right there? Okay. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all for listening. Be sure to follow this podcast or YouTube channel and share with people that you love. And we're just here to help you guys. Check out matchnet.us if you want to join the MatchNet program, because that's our step-by-step guide about how to actually do this matching, process, and not just the why and the what. Okay. God bless you all. We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.